Yo, what is good, guys? Welcome back. For those of you who, well, if you're wondering why I'm saying welcome back, this is a part two of the video um, that I did previously where we built this out. We took that Figma design you're just seeing, we built it out in Webflow. So if you're just here to look at some animations and learn a couple of things about those, that's fine. But if you want to watch the beginning of this, go watch the other video. It's part one of two. Once again, for those of you who are just seeing this video, welcome. My name is Dexter. I run a design studio, web and brand called Crafted Studios. We help brands that are focused on growth. We help them welcome new beginnings. We help them build platforms that enable and unlock new business growth, right? So that's a rebuild, rebrand, rebuild internal tools, and all that good stuff. So, and yeah, and plus I just like business and marketing. And so, I like to get a little bit hands on, and so does the team. And that's enough about me, more about you guys. So I've been thinking about what type of animations I want to build out in this. And I think I came up with a little bit of something. We're going to do some staggered load on all the headers. And then we're going to do opacity fade for the rest of them. And then we might do some image parallaxing. I don't know if that's going to be a little too much. I don't know. But I mean, we might as well build it out so you guys can learn pretty much all you can learn in one video. So let's just kind of do all of them and see how it feels. How about this? We'll only do image parallaxing on the larger images. So we'll do this one, and then we'll also do this one and see how that feels. But for now, enough about what I'm rambling on about. Let's just go ahead and jump right on into it. All the links to the Figma file and the fonts and whatnot are in the description below. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do, and we're gonna have to rebuild some of this stuff, of course, for the animations. Honestly, when I first was thinking this tutorial slash build with me thing through, I wasn't even thinking about implementing any interactions, but I figured, I might as well do it since the last tutorial I didn't do it. So here we go, right? So we might have to rebuild a few things, but it won't be anything too drastic. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to do this here text animation, right? And what I want to do is essentially I want to break up all of these words here into a span or a div, and I want to yeah, set up the staggered load. Um, it's actually a pretty simple, interaction. Let me show you guys how we're going to do this. So first and foremost, we're going to put a div block in here, and I'm going to call it wrapper dash interact. Wrapper dash interaction. And we're going to give this div an overflow hidden, and we're also going to give this div a horizontal flex, and we're also going to give this a don't wrap. We actually might change this to wrap. I'm not too sure. I don't really quite remember what we're gonna do there, but nonetheless, that's part one. Let's go ahead and throw in a div in here. We're gonna give this a class of div dash hide, right? And then we're gonna give it an overflow hidden, and then we're gonna just put a little bit of padding around it. So I'm gonna do 5, 5, and 3. Nothing on the top. At least we don't need that right now. And inside of that, I'm actually gonna just throw our heading text in there. Same thing. I'm just gonna give this an H1. And boom, there we go. So next thing I'm going to do is actually just paste this welcome into that. So copy, paste, right. So you can see we have our H1, our div, hide, and our interaction wrapper. So let's go to our div hide. We're going to copy and paste. And that's what it was. So I'm going to go back here, and then I'm just going to go to wrap. That's what it was. It's wrap. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to just put in the rest of our text. So 2, and then spaces. All right, let's delete this. As you can see, we just replaced our text. Now it's all kind of scrunched up. That's just because we need to give the div hide a percentage so we can push some elements away from each other. So let's go ahead and put 3%. I think that's good enough for spacing. And there we go, right? So this just kind of sets us up to build out the interaction. So you might see some elements cut off, but if you just type in your artboard, you'll see what it's really going to look like. And some of these things we might have to adjust as time goes on, but right now I just wouldn't worry about that. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna do a page load for this one. So for this whole thing, we're gonna actually do a page load. So if we come in here, since this is the hero, that's why we're doing page load instead of on scroll. So let's just go ahead and do page load, and then we're gonna do when pages. We're gonna actually gonna do when pages finish loading. We're gonna start an animation, and we're gonna do staggered hero. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on our first H1, and then we're going to go move, and we're going to do set as initial state. And we're actually going to make this move go down to, let's try 100. Is that going to be enough? No. 150. That's not enough for me. Let's go ahead and be safe and just do 200. And the same thing with all of them. So let's go ahead and grab our 2, move, 200, spaces, move. Oh, and I actually want this to be at the bottom. Spaces, move, 200. Right, so we just set up our initial state. And then, so basically when the page loads, nothing is gonna be there. After the page loads is when the text is gonna animate. So this is gonna pop up when that happens. So first off, we're gonna start off with our H1, and we're gonna go ahead and go to our end, click on move again, and then you just simply go to 0, right? And then we give this a duration of 1, just for now. You'll see why in just a second. Same thing with our 2. So move, 0, duration of 1, and then move, 0. That actually went to the middle. I don't want that to happen again. All right, so with, yep, duration of 1. Right, so you kind of see the vision, right? Now it's a little bit kind of janky right now. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to set a delay. And so this delay is going to be 0.05. Now our 2 is going to be, we're going to do increments of 5 basically. So this is going to be 0.10, and our spaces is going to be 0.15. Cool. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to then hold shift and select all. Then I'm going to go into our easing, and then I'm going to go down to out court, and let's go ahead and play it. So let's see what this looks like. Boom, we're done. That's the first interaction complete. So let's go ahead and test this out and see how it's going to work on page load. And we don't have too much content in here, so it really shouldn't be too crazy of a load time to load everything up. Our images are compressed and all that. So let's see how this looks. Boom. And we're good. That looks great. So that's the first interaction complete, right? So I've been debating in my head as I was doing that if I want to actually put in an image interaction. Uh, I think for now we'll leave it off and we'll come back to it and see if it's too much. So for now we won't worry about it. Let's just keep things moving. Um, and so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna actually add on top of that page load. So let's go back to our page load, go to staggered hero, and with this whole entire grid, what I want to do is just make it like kind of like just fade in slowly. So we're actually just gonna set up an opacity for this. So opacity, let's go down here. So let's go ahead and do 0 as an initial state, right? And then we're going to go to our end and then do opacity again. Make sure it's set to 100%. Then I'm going to go to ease. And then I'm going to actually make this match up with pretty much our 5 increments so it can fire right after the rest of the text plays out. So since that's the last one is 0.15, we're going to do 0.20. 0.20 as a delay. Oh, and let's go ahead and put this with, so let me set this up again, 0.20. So let's go ahead and see how all this is going to play out. All right, I kind of scrolled that around. Cool. It played out pretty well. I think what I want to do is just I want to give it a little bit more of a delay. Let's go ahead and do 0.25. Let's see how this feels. We're getting there. Let's just do 0.30. Yep. There we go. There we go. I like that. So I like that so far, and I think we're done here on our hero load. So let's keep it pushing, right? So the next thing I want to do is I actually want to basically I want to target this entire section because inside this section, no, actually, what I want to do is I want to target this absolute wrapper is basically going to be the trigger for this whole entire interaction that we're going to do. Um, and what that's going to look like is we're going to do another staggered load for this text. Then the rest of this text here is just going to be kind of opacity. I'm not going to do anything crazy to this right here. I don't really think that's necessary. Um, I'm debating what I want to do because we also can do a section opacity, but I really don't know what I want to do just yet. Uh, let's see. I think a section opacity would look pretty nice. And that wasn't what I had in mind, but hey, let's just see how this shit goes. So let's try. I never really did a section opacity before, so let's just see how this works. So let's say, yeah, scroll into view, section, um, here, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna set this up. Let's go opacity. Let's do selected element, and then let's go ahead and do 0. Uh-oh, this is getting spooky. Initial state. Oh, I'm getting spooked, guys. I don't know about this one. Okay, 100. And then let's do ease, I guess. A delay, maybe. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Duration of 1, I guess. Let's see how that would play out. I have no clue. Oh, wait a minute. That's actually beautiful. Yeah. All right. Okay, I thought it was going to be more convoluted, but I like that. And so with that, what I want to do next is I want to actually do that same. I want to do the interaction. I won't make the pictures in right here fade in since it's doing that with the section. Let's see if we can stagger that this still and make it look nice. All right. So let's delete our H2. Our wrapper should still be there. Yes, it is. Let's go ahead and give this a horizontal flex. And of course, let's do the same thing. Let's do the wrap. And then we're going to throw in a div block. You know what we're going to do, guys. We're going to set up our div hide. Okay. And then same thing here. Our heading. This is an H2, so let's go ahead and throw in an H2. Combo class of text white we already have set up. So let's go apply. Okay. Um, oh, wait a minute. What did I do? I'm spooked. Interesting. Okay, I'm not gonna. Okay, sure. So apply today. Oh, let me go get the door real quick, guys. My apologies. All right, so my bad, guys. So let's get back to the build. So what I was doing is I was setting up the interaction, I believe. Yep, I was setting up this interaction because what we did so far. Let me hide this. What we did so far is we gave this an opacity, which is great. I'm just going to continue to build this out. And what I want to do, I noticed that this div usually with Y's, it always does this, but it looks like we have a little bit of extra space, right? A little bit of the Y cutting off. So I'm just going to do max width. And then I'm going to apply that to this div as well. And all I'm going to do is just remove some of this padding here. So we're going to do 0. No, no. I'm actually going to add padding. That's what it is. Yep. Yep. So something like that is fine. Let's do 15 just to be even. Something like that is fine. It looks good. So let's see, we got our headings, our div set up, and our wrapper set up. So let's go ahead and get started with this interaction. And so this one is actually going to be on scroll. So we can go ahead and set up a scroll into view and go ahead and start an animation. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and do staggered load. And you already know what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and go to our H2s and let's go ahead and do move per usual. So we're going to go 80. 80 should be fine. No, 100. And I'm actually going to remove the class to selected element so we can do this one by one. So I set that one to 100. Let's do the same thing to this one. And I'm going to remove the class and just go to the selected element. And let's actually do initial state and initial state. So we're going to grab our first H2 and going to go to the move interaction, and then we're going to go to 0. All right, and then duration of 1, same thing as we did to the last one, and go to our second one and set this up to, oh, whoops, my bad. I have to just go ahead and set up a move, and then we're going to add 0 here, and that is that. So we're going to also put duration of 1, and let's go ahead and do a delay of 0.05, and then this one a delay of 0.10. So we have increments of 5 like we did the last one. And of course, let's set up our easing. So let's go to outcourt. This is just what I'm doing personally, but you guys can set up whatever you like and play around with it a little bit. So let's check this out. Let's see. I think I want to separate this just a little bit more. So I'm going to do 15. Let's see how this looks. So let's go ahead and do 20. So if you set up increments of 5, it allows you to like remember and push or my plus or minus the amount of seconds that you want this to happen at. So I actually like 20 because it creates a little bit more separation. But just to exaggerate it a little bit more, I'm gonna do 0.25. There we go. So let's see how this looks. Whoa, okay. Nice. I like that. And so with that, with all that being said, what I really want to do next is just kind of set up the rest of our elements here to pretty much fade in. And so I'm not going to do the images. I'm only going to do the text. So let's go ahead and do that. Um, and look, I want to take a look at this one more time and see how this is going to work out. Yeah. So when this fades in and this plays, after this plays, this text, this paragraph, and this link are going to appear. So it's going to happen like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to happen like that. So let's go ahead and continue to set this up. Okay, so I'm going to target our H3 class right here. So let's go ahead and set this to opacity. So I'm going to go and do an opacity interaction for this one. I really should have did it down here, but there we go. And let's go ahead and go 0 as an initial state. And then we're going to take that same one and then just pretty much set it up down here. Opacity 100. And I'm going to do a selected element, of course. Right? And then I'm going to do with previous action. And as always, I'm going to set this up as duration 1 and then set this up as 30.3. So we have that going on there. So that's how that looks so far. Let's continue to set this up. So we're going to select our P2 and do the same thing here. Opacity. And then I'm going to do initial state, 0 opacity. Come back in here, select our end, opacity, 100%. Right, and then we're going to go to set as, oops, what am I doing? What in the world am I doing? We're going to go to with previous action. So let's play this again. Cool. And then let's set this over to duration of 1 and then 0.35. Nice. Lastly, let's set up our link. So let's go ahead and set this up as an opacity as well down there. 0 initial state, right? And then lastly, do the opacity 100% and duration of 1, delay of width previous action, and delay of 0.40, 0.40. Now, to make sure all this kind of plays in uniform, we're going to just select it all and then go to Output, and let's see how all this plays. All of it happens really smoothly. I like that. The only thing I want to do is just tweak this a little bit. So I'm going to do 0.45 for this. And then for our link wrapper, I'm going to do 0.50 for that. So it just kind of exaggerates that a little bit. There we go. And that is it. So, excuse me. So let's see how this plays out. That's nice. I love that. I love that. However, I do want to get our P2 to be pushed out a little bit more. So let's do 55. And then our link wrapper will do like 0.60 or something like that. See how that plays out. Yeah, I like that. Because by the time you get here, it loads up. That's really nice. I'm not even going to do anything with the images. I don't even think that's necessary. I think this is just, I think that's just, I don't know. It's excellent. It's just excellent. Excelente. All right. So that is that. Let's move on to our final set of interactions. And so let's close this out. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with our, this time we're going to actually set it up to where we're going to do it a lot like this, to where I set up the interaction to basically fire on our absolute wrapper. We're going to do the same thing here, except for we're going to use the same class that we had here called wrapper interaction. And I might give it a combo class just so I can push the margin over, because the way I had this shifted down with using the divs, the div hide format, it's actually going to push that back up, but I want it to stay like this. So that's where the margin is going to probably come in. So let's go ahead and build this out. So I'm going to add a div up here just so I can see it. And let's go ahead and start our wrapper mesh interaction. Give it a combo class of margin. And I'll play with the margin in just a second. But let's go ahead and add our div dash hide. You guys know the vibes. Hey, that rhymed. Oh, so did that. I don't know what I'm on right now. Anyway, what is this? Our H1. So let's go ahead and set up that H1 class. I'm going to get the first word, which is community. Copy that right on in there. And then let's go ahead and let's see. Interaction, horizontal wrap. Cool. So all I'm going to do is just copy this one more time. We're going to say community. That's a money sign. That's not an and sign. What am I doing? And location. Go ahead and delete that H1. And so now we have our individuals. So you can see our and is right there. So thanks to the margin, I'm actually just going to push this over a little bit. Let's try 40 and see how this works. I can't tell just because my browser is shrunk thanks to our parameters. So we're going to do a width of 1440 and see how this looks. We're looking good. Looking good. Let me see how far I had to push it. Okay. Yeah, I think um I think 40 is feasible. Let's just leave it at 40. Good. So let me just bring that back. Okay, so that's basically it. Let's go ahead and do the rest of our interaction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as the trigger for the rest of the interaction. So let's go ahead and set that up now. So this is an on scroll as well. So we're just going to go scroll into view, and then we're going to go start animation. And then same thing here. We can just do we can do last. I don't even know what to call this. Last section, staggered. All right. Then from here we can go ahead and do our normal H1 interactions as well. So let's go ahead and do that now. So let's try 100. Still can see it. Let's try 200 or maybe even 180, I guess. Cool. It's going to do 200 to be safe. And I want to actually remove this and do selected element just so we can do this one at a time. So let's select our and. We're going to do move. We're going to do 200. And then we're going to do, is this set as an initial state? No, let me do that now. Initial state. And where is our last text at? Oh, that's because this is set to class. So let's remove that and we can see our last text. Let's go ahead and set that up. 200 initial state. Right. So now that all these are set to our initial state, let's remove this class once again. So all this is set to initial state. Let's go ahead and set our move to 0 now. So move 0, duration of 1. Let's set this one up. Move, duration of 1, 0. And then this is going to go with the previous action. And then we're going to go move 0, 1, and then with previous action. All right. So let's see how this plays out. You can see the vision coming together. But let's just go ahead and finish the rest of this out. So we're going to do, so I don't know why this is highlighted like that. I don't know. Okay. That kind of was spooking me. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and do, we're going to select all those and we're going to go over to outcourt. Let's go ahead and do those increments of 5 once again. So delay 0.05. Grab our and. We're looking for our and. There we go. Delay of 0.05, 0.10. Then we're going to grab our location and do delay of 0.15. Let's see how this works. Nice. All right, so that's set up for the most part. I might tweak that a little bit later, but that's cool for now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to target our entire text wrappers. And then just do a simple, opacity fade. So let's go ahead and do that now. So opacity, let's do this, move this here. Set as initial state, opacity 0. I don't know if I want to do class or if I want to do selected element. Let's go ahead and do selected element. So that way it can just go 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and try that and see how that feels. And then let's go and set up the opacity 100%. Nice. With previous action. And since this is 15, you guys already know the deal. Duration of 1, delay of 0.20. Hopefully you guys are getting the groove of this by now. All right, so let's do the other one. Opacity 0. Select the element. And duration, initial state, I got ahead of myself. Opacity 100. Delay of 0. What is that? 25. Width. I gotta do width first. 0.25. Nice. And the last one. 0. percent. Actually, I don't even. There we go. Initial state, opacity, 100%. And then, yeah, with previous action. Then we're going to do the delay of 30, 0.30, duration of 1. Right. See how this plays out. It's a little bit laggy in this mode. Let's go switch over to here. Let's actually publish this and see how. Might be a lot going on for the Webflow preview. All right. Okay, so I want actually these paragraphs to be delayed just a little bit more. So let's go ahead and play with that just a bit and count how many times I say go ahead. So I think with these, what I want to do is I can set this delay to probably 35 off the jump. This one I can delay it 0.5. And the last one I can probably do, select the element, 0.75. So we have 35, 55, 75. Let's see how that works. That's nice. And then just to kind of make this a little smoother, we're going to go to ease, just regular ease. Play it again. Nice. So let's see how this plays. Publish it one more time. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this tutorial. We're almost done here. I think this is going to be the last interaction. We really don't need to do image interactions and all that different stuff. That might be a little bit extra. That's nice. Yeah, it doesn't need an image interaction. That's nice. One thing I do want to do though, just as a just as a cherry on top, real quick, is I want to add my I want to add my. Let me save that. What I want to do is I want to add a what's it called? It's called a butter wrapper. And so what a butter wrapper is smooth wrapping. So I'm gonna go into my Notion. I haven't been in Notion in a while. I stopped using it for ClickUp. Oh yeah, this was something I was working on. Let's go over to our Webflow components, and we're gonna go to Butter.js. So just as it says, we're gonna copy and paste this in the footer code and the project settings. In this case, we're gonna do the page settings since this is only one page. We're basically just gonna throw this in there and then wrap it all in a div with ID of butter. So let's go ahead and do this now. Copy. I'm just gonna copy this here, and when we paste it in here, we're gonna delete this. Okay. So let's get out of all that. Go to our page, home. Wait, do they make you? Oh, they make you do the hosting plan thing now, huh? Oh, this is on my personal account, so they won't actually let me. Oh, that's devastating. Man, that's a shame. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure you get advanced staging. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let's do this real quick while I'm literally doing this. I'm gonna unpublish it, move it over to my team account, and then I will resume recording. So I will be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. So what I did was I just moved this over to my team account, and yeah, now we have access to the code, the custom code section. So yeah, all I'm gonna do is just paste this inside the body tag, and let's go ahead and remove this butter wrapper HTML in here. Right. So like it says, all we're gonna do is just give it a wrapper of butter. Be really smooth and to the point. So let's save that. And then we're going to go into our navigator, and then I'm just going to add a div, put this div to the top. And then inside of that div, I'm just going to throw the sections in there. And then I'm going to give this div a class of butter. And then Since while I'm at it, I'm just gonna go and do our ID tags while I'm at it. This helps sometimes with the site structure. And then while I'm at it too, I'm just gonna go and change these from divs to sections. It just helps with the site structure just a bit more. Makes it a little cleaner, right? ID's already taken. I'm aware of that. I just wanted to do, I go in like that. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and publish this once again. See if it worked. If not, I'll have to troubleshoot just a bit, but everything should be fine. Now, this won't work with fixed elements or sticky elements and stuff like that. So if you did implement anything that had a fixed or a sticky on the site, unfortunately, you won't get the smooth scroll. So just keep that in mind. All right, so the smooth scroll is definitely on there. It's just a hint of smooth scrolling, nothing too crazy. And yeah, that's all I did is I just went in here and I just added the code, gave oh wait a minute, it's not even implemented. See, that's how good that new MacBook is. Couldn't even tell. No, seriously, I couldn't even tell. I kind of could tell, but I couldn't tell until I started moving up and down really quickly. So once I give it a tag of butter, um, it'll then, there we go. You can feel it because it feels a little heavier. Nice. Yeah, so this is great. It's simple, smooth, right to the point. Um, I think everything came out really nice. Can't complain. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this tutorial. One thing I do want to show you before we go is thanks to all of the independent divs we created. And remember, we didn't build for these two breakpoints just because I wanted to save you guys another 30 hours. I mean, another 30 minutes of me like kind of like doing each breakpoint. I don't really think that's necessary. You guys probably know how to do that stuff on your own. Um, but for this at the bottom, it's going to be cut off like I expected because we have that margin. So you can actually just go ahead and get rid of that completely. And then what you might notice is that it has a little bit extra cut off here. Now what you can do um, is play around with some of the spacing here. But instead of doing all that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, let's see if this works. That doesn't work and that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our container and then just kind of push this a little bit. That's it. So then on the other breakpoints, yeah, it looks good. Looks good. So let's go back in and play around with this. So I'm just gonna do probably like 20%, something like that. Let's see how far we can stretch it. All right. So yeah, let's do 20%. Yep. Or 18. 18's okay. Okay. I normally don't like design all the way down here anyway. Usually right here is fine. So I'm just gonna go off of this. Okay, so 12 is cool. And basically anything after let's do a safe number of like 10. Anything after 10, you're just probably gonna get a little bit of that cutoff, which is cool. I mean, at this point, iPhone 5s and earlier and stuff like that. I mean, those are kind of old models. Anyway, I'm not really too worried about that. Maybe in a real project I would play around with it a little bit more. But that is that. Lastly, too, what I wanted to do since we're here is this was kind of bothering me, the fact that it was just so plain. So instead, I want to just push this over. And then I want to give this I think I want to give this like a 15 maybe. Oh, is it already on 15? And I give it a 10 on both sides. Let's see. Let me see what 20 looks like on both sides. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. Cool. I see a little bit of an issue though with our line. So with our container, once again, I'm just going to make this 92. Let's go and check our, since we actually fixed this, that's fine if we can go back to 90. And yeah, looks great. Looks great. Let's see. Well, that's what I did. I did 25% on both sides. So let's just do that. This is 20% on both sides. Yep. Really, guys, you can do whatever you want with this. Like, you can also just push it back. Yeah, it really don't matter. That's just what I wanted to do. But yeah, other than that, we're done. We're done here. You can, play around with it, do your own layout if you want. Play around with the grid, whatever. Have a blast. If you have any questions, guys, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. It's at Dexter W Jr. I'll leave the description below. I'll leave that in the description below as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. You got some value out of it. You had some fun building with me. I appreciate you guys for rocking out with me today. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend at the time of watching this. And for the rest of you, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.